What's up, good people? Let's talk about something extremely important and extremely crucial because we have all been through COVID, and most of us, if not all of us, have been through this COVID vaccination. And I want to talk about the impact of COVID vaccination, if there is any, on the menstrual cycles of the females. And it's a very recent research, very recent study. And as you can see, the date and timing of these things. So let's talk about it. Stay tuned till the very end of the video because we are going to conclude with something very impressive. So the COVID-19 led to a huge pandemic, and then finally there was a vaccine. And now comes the challenge that is that vaccine worth it or not? Or are there any big drawbacks or side effects? And this study focused basically on the menstrual cycles of the females who were, exposed to the COVID vaccine shots. And some people who had received COVID-19 vaccination have reported a temporary change in their menstrual cycle, according to the BMJ medicine. And the vaccine was, basically supposed to affect only the COVID virus, you know, but definitely there would be side effects, there would be some impacts on other parts of your system, just like any drug, any therapy can have any effects. But still it's worth it. And let's go in depth about it. That the vaccinated people had an adjusted increase in the menstrual cycle length of less than 1 day with both the first and second vaccine doses. And the increase wasn't associated with a change in the number of days of the periods, but the changes appeared to be similar regardless of the shots, regardless of the type of the shots that you got. And changes following the vaccination appear to be small in certain cases, but as we go along this study, we will find out that there are some people who got some significant changes. And it's a huge study, and the researchers were from the universities in Oregon, Massachusetts, London, and Edinburgh, all the big centers, all the big research centers. They got together and they looked at the data from the dates between October 2020 and November 2021. And the users had the option actually to consent to the use of their de-identified data for the research. And this research studied nearly 20,000 females, and they were between the age group of 18 to 45, and they belong to different regions of the world, including US, Canada, UK, and Europe. And therefore you studied 250,000 cycles. The included data for at least 3 cycles. They included, this whole thing included at least 3 cycles before and 1 cycle after the vaccine. So we are studying 3 cycles before you got the shots, and then 1 cycle after you got the shot, you know, and then you're comparing 15,000 to 5,000, which is, 5,000 is the unvaccinated group, because you want a fair comparison. And this is a really good, way to divide your subject so that you can have a fair comparison. You want a good result. So that's why I like this kind of distribution. About 80% of the participants were under the age of 35, because the reason is you don't want to include very old females and you don't want to include very young females, because you want a fair distribution so that you can have a fair trial and so that you can have a fair results that could be applied to general population. You don't want very young people in the group, you don't want very old people in the group. And they were from different sources of vaccinations. Some of them had Pfizer, some got Moderna, and Oxford Astra vaccine, and J&J as well. And the changes that they found out was something noticeable. But I would still say it's worth taking the shots. But what were the changes? There were some temporary changes. And what sort of changes were those? The significant increase in the number of the people who had a more than an 8-day increase in their cycle length. That is mind blowing. Why? Because you are getting an 8-day increase in the menstrual cycle length. That is huge. And about 1,342 participants, which is 6.2% of the vaccinated people and 5% of the unvaccinated people, reported an increase of more than 8 days. So that is something, that you cannot ignore. That's why it's published. That's why it's part of the news, medical news that I am discussing with you guys, that yes, there is a connection and there is a thing that needs to be studied further. Those who were younger and who had a longer length of, cycle, before vaccination were more likely to report the increase. So, this increase in the duration of the menstrual cycle that was observed in the vaccinated group of people was more in young subjects and those who also already had longer durations or already had that, frequency of getting into greater and greater length of the cycles, length of the periods. We are talking about the length of the periods, the duration of the cycles, and that's what was impacted by those people who got 2 shots of COVID, who got 2 shots of the COVID vaccination from any resource, whether it was Pfizer, whether it was Moderna, whether it was J&J, and so on and so forth. And it's not a small study; it's a huge study, and it got an award also. So it's related to NIH things that is something that holds significance, something that carries some weight. So point is, do you still want the vaccination? Yes. My thing is that yes, there is a possibility of increase in the duration or the length of the menstrual cycle, but still we don't have an alternative. It's all about how you weigh your benefits and risks. So that's on you. I am leaving the decision on you people. I am just here to relay the information. The decision belongs to you people. You go and talk to your doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, whoever you are connected to, and discuss with them. I am not an OBGYN doctor. I am just here to relay the information as a medical doctor. And overall, the vaccinated people had a 0.71 day increase in their cycle after the first dose and 0.56 day increase after the second dose. So those who received 2 doses in one cycle had an increase of 3.7 days, though there wasn't an increase in the days of the bleeding. So that's something also that you need to keep in your mind. And this change was a temporary change, and it was more amongst the younger people or amongst the people who were prone to get longer cycles. So if you are a person who already has a longer duration of cycles, you might get impacted. Like, let's say you are a person who gets 10-day frequency or length of your cycle. If you're getting shots, it might increase by 3, it might increase by 1, it might not increase at all, but it's not going to decrease. So that's for sure. There is a chance for it to increase. So that's the chance that you need to discuss with your medical doctor, OBGYN. Uh, the researchers noted that there were several limitations, including the people using the hormonal birth control. They were not the participants in this study because we want to focus on the natural cycle. We don't want to study a cycle that has been impacted by other factors like stress, anxiety, birth control pills, and many factors. Even the diet can influence. But this study was trying to study all the natural people who don't go through big things in their life, let's say trauma or birth control pills, all these things, anything that can impact your cycle in any way. We are not gonna include that thing in our study because we are already studying, or we are already trying to study something that's going to impact the duration, the length, and frequency of your periods. And we don't want any other confounding factors or limiting factors. That's why we did not get those people in the group. So let's say if you are a person who is on birth control pills, you are not supposed to, implicate this kind of study onto yourself. And for more details, talk to your OBGYN. The study findings match up with the previous study as well. So there was another study that was published by the same group of researchers in January, and they focused on women in the US, and they found it that the average menstrual cycle length increased by about a day after the shots. So there is definitely something. I am, supporting it with two solid studies. The one I am going over right now is not just from Canada, it's from Canada, UK, Pakistan, not Pakistan, sorry, it's from Canada, UK, and US. Those are the bigger places, and it's not Pakistan, but it's the Europe. Pakistan is not part of Europe, but still, these are on human beings. These are not, you're not talking about rats or guinea pigs here. So these are some authentic places like Massachusetts, London, Edinburgh, big places, big research places, including Oregon. These are talking about this, and there is a connection there that we need to discover, and this thing needs to be studied further. And that's what they are saying, that the researchers are calling for future studies on this aspect and other aspects of vaccination related to the menstrual cycle changes, because you don't want an unexpected bleeding, you don't want an unexpected flow, you don't want an unexpected pain. And that's what we need to talk about, that why is the COVID vaccine leading to all of this, you know so if you have any questions, as I said earlier, talk to your doctor, talk to your OBGYN. My job is to relay the information, and it's a solid research. Please like, subscribe, and share to my channel, and encourage others to, get educated, get yourself educated about what you need to know, especially about this vaccination. You need to know what sort of change are you getting in your body. Is that a temporary change or is that a permanent change? Why is it happening? That's the purpose. The purpose is not to create the fear amongst the people. The purpose is to create awareness and have a healthy, confident lifestyle. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.